Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Metal video. In this video we are going to be taking a look at an updated and more current guide to the hidden potential system, covering all of the basics you need to know to understand how it works and the calculations behind it. In terms of building units, I'll cover that in another video, but right now we're going to talk about the hidden potential system and everything you need to know. So the first thing you need to know is stat systems. So a hidden potential system, as we know, adds stats to a unit, but units can have varying numbers in terms of their stats. You get different tiers of stat systems. Some units will have an S tier system, which has been phased out, an A tier system, a B tier, or a C tier system. A tier systems are the most common, and all summonable units along with all LR free-to-play units will have A tier systems. This usually means around 5,000 on average per stat. S tier systems are an older system, and this is around 7,000 or 7,500 per stat. So you can see pretty evidently with this example of Gogeta, it's a pretty sizable boost. A B tier system is around 4,000 per stat, and that's most common with Bulma. And then you get a C tier system, which is around 3,000 per stat, and this is most common with all free-to-play units. So those are just the different tiers. It's important to understand this because although some units will have the same level of orb input, the stats you get out will actually vary. And most times this doesn't affect the selection of abilities like dodge, crit, or etc., although it sometimes can. In the case of B tier systems like Bulma or free-to-play systems, you can get lower crit and additional. Another important factor to understand is the differentiation between the different typings and understanding exactly how the different typings affect units. So let's look at the different typings. And now the first thing that's different is the free ability that all the different typings get. So when I say this, I mean when you get a unit of 55%, which is the max you can get a unit without dupes, the unit will gain a free ability. That can be, in the case of some units, crit, it can be additional, or it can be dodge. For physical units, it is additional. For strength units, it is crit. For int units, it is dodge. And yeah, some people don't like this, but they're the only typing that has dodge. Then for AGL units, I believe it is additional again. And for tech units, it is crit. So this is a free ability. Basically, it's the standard that all units will get without having to unlock any of their paths. So it's a pretty straightforward kind of system. Beyond that, typing also affects the distribution of stats. For example, a unit that is rainbow but is a physical unit may have a higher HP stat or HP buff, I should say, from its hidden potential system than a unit that is strength. And this is also important to understand because basically this will help you just to kind of understand a bit more about the typings and what you're going to probably get by rainbowing a unit. It's not a huge difference, it amounts to a couple 100 points per stat, so it isn't a crucial factor, and most times, you know, the hidden potential system of a unit and the baseline stats will matter a lot more than the additional stats you add in determining that unit's stat distribution, but it is important to understand. Now let's talk about unlocking paths. So unlocking paths is pretty straightforward. The only way to unlock the paths to a unit is to have an exact copy of that unit. So in the case of Broly here, I have 2 paths unlocked. I unlock those by having 2 more additional copies of this exact same Broly unit. It doesn't matter if they have the same name, doesn't matter if they're the same type, the card has to have the same card ID as the other card. So that's super important. The order in which you unlock them, generally speaking, is bottom right, number 1 always unlocked first, and top left is unlocked second. Whether you choose to go then top right or bottom left is irrelevant. The main reason we go bottom right first is it actually provides the highest stat distribution, as well as also providing the modifiers for the unit. Top left doesn't have as many stats, but provides the most modifiers for crit, additional, and dodge. And then the top right and bottom left are kind of interchangeable. The top right gives you less stats than the bottom left in terms of defense. Now, in terms of other reasons to unlock paths, unlocking paths also affects your gear. Now, for units, most units will have all units have the bronze and silver slots fully unlocked by existing. However, the gold slot only unlocks once you have 2 dupes of the units activated. Placing gear inside of units is a pretty straightforward system, and I have covered skills and EX orbs in another video, so I'll leave a link to that, as well as I'll also leave a link to obtaining hidden potential orbs as well. But now, choosing gear is very much like these same modifiers. You can apply all these same modifiers or combinations of them, and these stats work the same as stats you would add from the hidden potential system, meaning they all under the same occurrence. If I, for example, add dodge, that dodge is cumulative to the dodge I already give my unit out of the hidden potential system. This is super important to understand. It means that you are adding to what is built within the hidden potential system. You are not creating a secondary system to it. It's just basically a way to freely customize your units a little bit more. But now, let's talk a little bit about, acquiring orbs and obviously getting different orbs and skill orbs. So, skill orbs can be exclusive, meaning they can be directly tied to a unit, and they can also reach up to level 6, I believe. But this will naturally increase as the game continues. So, skill orbs are best to assess on a unit-to-unit basis, but some really good starting points are to understand that they work the same as the modifiers that you already have for units. Now, hidden potential orbs, these are traditionally, uniform. So you use strength orbs for strength units, AGL orbs for AGL units. You won't use a combination of orbs, which you do in games like Legends, which will soul boost with multiple variants of souls. In this case, you will just boost with solely the orbs of that corresponding type. However, it's important to understand that some units have exclusive orbs. So some free-to-play units traditionally have orbs that are tied only to those units. So, for example, again, Tech free-to-play Belma, she's a great example. You then also have the Ginyu Force units and the Team Bardock units. All of these units have exclusive orbs, meaning they have orbs that can only be used to augment their hidden potential system. But traditionally, this means they're also farmable free-to-play, which means you don't have to invest any of your own hidden potential orbs to max out the units. And hidden potential orbs are especially hard to get as a new player, so I suggest you look at my video if you want more help there. But now let's talk about the actual modifiers. So you have HP, attack, and defense, and these just act as raw supplements to your existing stats. If you add 500 defense to a unit that has 8000 defense, it will act as a pure upgrade to that amount, effectively amounting to its 8.75% increase in the unit's defense, which is pretty good. But how do all of the distinct modifiers work? So let's take a look at combo attack. So combo attack is a chance for an additional, and this is a pretty straightforward system. Basically, every level you gain gives you a 2% chance to incur an additional attack and a 1% chance to have an additional super attack. So if you have 30 in combo attack, that is a 60% additional attack chance, as well as being a 30% additional super chance. So a lot of the times when you max out combo attack, you are essentially trying to max out the super attack portion of it, as that's predominantly the big gain. Critical hit works the same way, except in that it has no subvariance. So critical hit is a 2% increase per level, and it will apply to all aspects of your character, be that normal attacks, super attacks, active skills, etc. Critical hit is 2% per level. Then we have dodge or evasion. Evasion is 1% per level, and this will be a separate instance of evasion to a unit's passive evasion. This evasion is not additive, it's like adding a secondary chance to dodge or a primary chance to dodge to a unit. So if a unit has a 30% chance to dodge, adding 20 levels of evasion doesn't make that unit 50%, it gives it one instance of 30% and a second instance of 20%, which is actually lower than 50%. Then we have type attack boost. This is a 5% increase per level in the damage you deal to enemies that are of the weaker type. So if you are a tech unit attacking an AGL, this will increase that damage. It's also important that this actually applies as well to critical hits and super effective against all types. So this is something that could be important if a unit has a high level of crit or a high level of super attack or super effective damage. This can definitely help out. So prioritize this if you have a unit that is good at critting or you have a unit that has super effective against all types. If you need any help with these, I will leave a link to my playlist for advanced game mechanics. Type defense boost works very much in the exact same way and also factors in to when units guard. Now if a unit has true guard, this will not really play into account. So type defense boost is not something really to apply to units that have guard as an ability. And then finally we have the super attack boost. This increases the multiplier to your SA level, and this is a 5% increase to that multiplier level. So to keep it simple, if you have a 3 times multiplier, increasing this will make it a 3.15 multiplier. Pretty straightforward, basically. So should be relatively simple. Getting levels in this does help increase your super attack. So overall, at the end of the day, it's like a flat boost to a unit. Then we have recovery boost. Recovery boost is pretty straightforward, but it is a 5% increase to the baseline heal that units gain from getting same type orbs. So it's pretty valuable, and I've covered that as well in my advanced mechanics selection. So that basically covers everything you need to know. It should give you enough basic information to make informed decisions about your units. I will be doing an updated guide on how to correctly build units in the future, but for now, hopefully this will help. That's it from me. Bye.